Ever since I've switched to Schaeffer's oil, I've never had a reason to even try anything else. And that's one thing that I'm proud about, is the fact that I can't tell you how good something else is, because I know how good Schaeffer's oil is. My engine builders, Tony and Glenn Clements, have said about the oil we run. They've told us that out of all the motors that they get and rebuild every year, ours looks the best, and a lot of that has to do with the oil that we run. One of the things that I love about Schaeffer's oil is the fact that all of their reps are out in the field and at the racetracks with us, seeing what all the racers need, seeing what ideas we have or anything that we can improve on. And you just can't beat the customer service of having a rep for, you know, one of the main components of our race team, whether it's at our engine oil, transmission fluid, rear end oil. Having somebody there that represents that brand and also gives us support and also the knowledge that we need to be making the right calls and just helping us out with our entire racing program. It means a lot to our race team to have that. My name's Chris Ferguson, and I drive the number 22 dirt late model. I've been using Schaeffer's oil racing products since 2009. I absolutely have no doubt that we're using the best products that is possible for dirt late model racing.
Hello and welcome to Raceverse coverage of the Revolution Indy League Schaeffer's IndyCar Series. In 2020, a short man from Pennsylvania dreamed to create a place where fans of IndyCar could race in the sport they love. Thus, the Revolution Indy League, then the Reddit IndyCar League, was born. On July 29, 2020, like tonight, the inaugural round of the series opened at Michigan International Speedway. That day, we saw two-time series champion, future two-time series champion Caleb Benzie take victory. And the following season, we saw Craig Forsyth take victory at the same track, but then the track lay dormant in the series until now. Tonight, we have a possibility of a completely packed field. The league has over 70 entries, and while we don't expect that many taking qualifying times, I think we're at about 50 at the moment. We will, for the first time ever, begin bumping for anybody over 36th place. And I would just want to make note that that is a NASCAR Xfinity number for what it's worth. So we'll see if any of the series regulars have to take that humble walk back to the virtual garage. And with that said, of course, we have our coverage is not complete without our resident IndyCar historian, Gary Godso. How's it going, Gary?
I'll tell you what, I am so completely excited to be here. Not just being here with you and talking about IndyCars on an oval, but we have this huge field. We have some big names. We have returning champions, and we got some big speeds. Caleb Benzie on the pole provisionally, 221.952. AJ Musselman's also up there. Christopher Kresge, the admin, just clocked in at 221.750. Roadman Zeller up there, 220.552. Yes, I guess he can only turn left. He's up there in the top 10. I'm super excited. This is going to be a great race. I don't know what to expect.
Hey, I do see that we have Neil Lesher on the track. But he happened to be the most exciting driver there, and that's what the iRacing cameras decided to pick. Currently, Caleb Benzie, provisional pole. We've got Flynn Lazier from the Lazier family, currently in 10th position.
Yeah, that's it. That is the son of 1996 winner, Indy 500 winner, Buddy Lazier, the 2000 Indy Racing League champion, and the grandson of 1980 Indy 500 Rookie of the Year, Bob Lazier.
That's right. We're about a minute and a half away. I see JJ Wang, one of our rookies here in the series, taking some laps. We know him from over in the Formula Indy series. Christian Alacio, we know from the Velocity Online Racing League, also out here.
Nicholas Isidro sitting on the bubble. We're talking 36, right? He is currently 36.
Wow.
And there's still some cars to go. We haven't seen Gavin Sanders yet. We have not seen Rhett Nichols go. We have not seen Michael Haller go. Matthew Short. We know some of those guys got some speed. So Isidro just on the bubble oh so slightly. And also joining him is Christopher Hill. We know him mainly for road course racing, but he's hanging on by his fingernails at the moment.
Well, as I said, would we see any series regulars taking that humble walk back to the virtual garage? We're about to see if that is if that comes true.
Oh, Chris Albee clocking in at 45th. That's disappointing. Angelo Expo also clocking in at 48th. That's very disappointing too. Peter Donchek missing the cut, looks like. Ben Carswell missing the cut. Alex Teeter missing the cut. I mean, these are guys that we've seen from not just the Reddit series, or excuse me, the Schaeffer Cup series, but also the Turbo series as well. Heinekamp also not making the cut. Looks like Christian Alessio did not complete his run, so I don't think he made the cut. So the field's about 7 seconds away from being locked in, and Caleb Binsey is now going to be on your pole in 1 second. Now done. 221.952 is your top speed.
Now, we did have some comparison to a couple record times there, Gary, that you were noting with all of that.
Yeah, because this is a track where you have the IndyCar series and the kart series raced at, I mean, it's going to have two different track records. And so the track records here kind of do vary greatly based upon the equipment they were running at the time. The overall, what I would consider IndyCar track record, that would include kart, IndyCar, the whole lineage of IndyCar is really belonging to Paul Tracy, set in 2000. Same year that, keep in mind, same year that Gilles de Ferran set the big lap speed in California. 234.949, Paul Tracy has a track record. Alonso Jr. holds the race record for 500 miles here, which is 189.727, set in 1990. I remember watching that race on TV. There's very few cautions. That was a very fast race that year. The IndyCar series, or the IRL series, Thomas Scheckter actually has the pole speed of 222.458, which I don't think they exceeded with the IR18s by themselves without the aid of the draft here. So the 2003 cars seem to be faster, at least in simulation, than the 2018, 2019, 2020 cars. And the race average speed is over 400 miles, is set by Helio Castro Neves, 193.972 in 2006, another race where they had very few cautions. So let's get the starting lineup in.
Well, I think we got a little bit of a technical issue that I'm noticing. I think because of all the cars, we're about to get a what do we call it? What's the thing after the heat races? It's
warm-ups.
Well, there's also there's the heat races, and then there's the concession. I can't think of the word. But yeah, I think that our bottom qualifiers are currently in a race of their own, because I see Teeter there. Do you see that?
Teeter, Albee, Lake,
Okay.
Heinekamp, Espo, X, Alessio, and Macadori. Interesting. I don't see them at all on the racetrack.
Yeah, so there's something happening here that we will see if you can hear anything on the administrator's radio or anything like that, Gary, of what might be happening. Let's go to a commercial, though, while we do that.
There's two types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment, and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon, and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaeffer, and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaeffer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaeffer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.
All right, we're back from that commercial. We're still waiting on word here of what exactly is going on. But yeah, the consolation race. Thank you for correcting me. My mind completely blanked out on what that was called. Somebody in the audience letting us know what was going on there.
Yeah, and it must just be a configuration thing, so we'll get back going here very, very shortly. Interesting enough, even though there's no IndyCar races currently at Michigan, during the kart IndyCar era, so we're not including USAC, USAC actually used to hold, for the longest time, 2 races a year here. They would hold them like a quick 100-mile or 125-mile sprint, and then they would have like either a 200-mile or a longer race in the summer. But between IRL, IndyCar Series, Champ Car, Kart, that whole era, only one other track has hosted more IndyCar races than Michigan, and that's Milwaukee. You would think that Indianapolis would be high up there. This place in Milwaukee has hosted more IndyCar races in the modern era than even Indianapolis has, and that's I believe that's even including adding on maybe the Grand Prix races as well. So Michigan's very important to the lineage of IndyCar history, and I hope someday we see them go back. Certainly that there's ways to break up a pack race, and I know that's the major concern that everyone has. So if they could break up a pack race with the setup or go back to the Hansford device or something, that would be most welcome to see these cars back up in Brooklyn again.
Okay, well, I think we're getting everything sorted here, Gary. Things have come through, and I now see everybody that should be out here. So we're just getting past that consolidation race. I do think we actually do have a warm-up at the moment, though, but I think that's a good time. We've got a really big field, and I think that's a good time for us to start going through that grid if we can get this pulled up. You know something about broadcasting with a really big grid, and that warm-up race is, not warm-up race, but that warm-up that we have is certainly helpful for you. So, we've got Caleb Bensi on the pole, followed by Talon Smith in P2, newcomer to the series, Christopher Kresge in P3, our champion, Dakota DeMade in P4, AJ Muscleman P5, Will Zeller coming out here. He might be trying the bump draft. He mentioned it earlier in the chat. He's been mentioning it for seasons. He's out here tonight. He's made the call or answered the call, and he's out here. So welcome back, Will.
In P7, we have the winner from Dover last year, Michael Holler. P8, Logan Spath. P9, Rhett Nichols in the anime car there. I think we got a couple of those on the grid. P10, Flynn Lazier. P11, Drew White's going to be in one of those funky-looking NASCAR-looking Indy cars that doesn't quite fit right. I like to say, keep your chocolate out of my peanut butter. John Cosgrove in P12.
That is Hayden Herman, P13, Josh Tucker, P14, Matthew Short, P15, Neil Lesher coming in at just the end there, going to be P16. We got Sean Ryan, P17, Cody Claiborne making a start there in P18.
Christian Jasper, first time we've seen him since the FIS when we broadcasted him, P19. Speaking of FIS, the FIS champion, Nate Seifert, back in P20. Ty Richter coming over from the Velocity Online Racing Series, P21. Shane Coogan of that powerful Raceverse team in P22. James Watson in P23. And JJ Wang in P24.
We've got Nick Minori there in P15. Nick Stein, a couple of Nicks in that row. Gavin Sanders, P27. Lewis Woodall, P28. Chris Cawthor in P29. Will Weisbrod, P30.
Back into the 31st position, Michael Berry, P32. Johan Sherazai, hope I said that right. 33rd, Charles Baldwin. 34th, Chris Stewart. 35th, Christopher Hill, the road ace, makes it in. And 36th, surviving by the skin of his teeth, Nicholas Isidro, one of the winners that we've had here in the past of the series, makes the field, and that is your top 36.
Yeah, so Isidro was our winner of the inaugural RIL 300-mile race at Indianapolis. So just coming in, like you said, skin of his teeth. We've got cars on the backstretch pacing here. We're ready to go here. A lot of cars, 36 cars.
Now, before they have done starts here in Michigan in real life, of course, we know the famous 3-wide start that marred the start of the US 596, but they have gone between 3-wide and 2-wide starts a number of times in real life. So I think they pretty much settled on 2-wide, but this track can definitely accommodate a 3-wide start a lot better than Indianapolis can.
Yeah, I'd say I just think with these cars and you don't want to increase the incidence. You got here tonight we've got 200 miles, but in real life you might have 400 or 500 miles, and I think 2-wide is just fine. Green flag.
Yep, in this series they have to wait. Whoa, Holler getting a little squirrely in the back there, but he's breaking loose. Looks like our defending champ is on the outside of Talon Smith there. He takes over P2, and Caleb Bensley starting to set sail down the backstretch. But watch this draft come into play. Caution, caution, caution.
I think Kresge into the wall. I think that was maybe some apron issue. We're going to get a replay of that, obviously. But, yeah, taking out a lot of cars. This was the fear, talking to some of the drivers today, that this first lap was going to be a big issue, and unfortunately it came true. Did anybody opt to start from the pits?
that might have been a good time to probably think about that strategy.
Yep.
Certainly the field's long enough that you might be able to grab onto the tail end of the draft coming off the pits with 36 cars. But let's see what happened there. How many cars involved, and what do we got going on?
I think Kresge gets hit in the rear by somebody. I'm not sure who it is.
And AJ Musselman on pit road too.
Kresge got loose in the middle of about turn 2, and AJ ran into the back of him. But yeah, we're taking out a lot of good cars here. I see Drew White getting through cleanly. Schaeffer through cleanly. A lot of cars towing back.
I really think though that you kind of gotta expect. Certainly with Indian. Holler was in that as well. Yeah, you really got to expect that these cars. Remember, the faster they're going, the more downforce they provide. The more downforce they make. That they're not at full speed going through turn 1 or turn 2, just taking after the green flag, and you got to expect the cars to be loosened. Yeah. And that's when as a driver, you're going to go, okay, I got to tighten her back up. I got to go negative on the weight jacker, or maybe go more positive on the front and softer on the rear weight bars or something like that, to avoid doing that, because that's kind of the same thing we saw at Indianapolis last year with this crew, and you would hope that they would learn from that. And unfortunately, not only do we take out a bunch of cars, but we took out some big names as well. We got Coogan currently in pit road, Isidro in pit road, Flynn Lazier didn't make it through that, Rhett Nichols didn't make it through that, Logan Spatz didn't make it through that. So we got a bunch of cars sitting back on pit road that are pretty much done for the day.
Yeah, this is, how many cars do you think this is? This is, I don't know, at least 10 probably.
Yeah, I see Holler showing on pit road. He had an extended stay. He was 15.5 seconds in the box, so looks like he was able to get his stuff repaired. Cosgrove looks like he is currently on pit road right now, probably going to go for a top off. Sean Ryan in 29th in the 909. Looks like he came down pit road as well. Maybe he had a bit of a top off, because he was only in the box for 1.7 seconds. But pretty much everyone from 30th on back, which is Kresge, Musselman, Bass, Nichols, Lazier, Coogan, Isidro, all looks like received some type of terminal damage and are unfortunately done already. And they didn't get a chance to really make it down the backstretch and complete lap 1.
I'm seeing some pit time for Holler, but he's in P8 still, so I'm not 100% sure whether that's accurate information or not. Okay, I see Neil Lusher coming down the pit lane as well, topping up his fuel, making sure there's no damage or anything like that.
Yeah, it's probably not a bad idea to be topping off fuel, especially with the field this big, and especially with the field of, we only have a strength of field of 1.9K, which is not top split material, let's say that, because we do broadcast a top split. I don't even think that's really a second split number. I would say it's closer to a third or fourth split type number with a pretty large field.
Yeah, we've got a
topping off the tank
here.
And maybe topping off the tank and maybe lasting a little bit longer than the next guy might be beneficial, because still with a lot of cars out there and a lot of inexperienced drivers, he might catch a opportune caution and vault himself to the top of the field.
We've got a lot of cars behind about 5th place, like say Drew White, Rainbow Warrior car, as we alluded to earlier, up from 11th to 5th. We've got a bunch of cars that have jumped ahead because of this incident at the front of the field.
The reigning FIS champion Nate Seifert sitting there and up 13 spots. Hayden Herman up 7. Drew White up 6. Look at further on back. Gavin Sanders had a hell of a start, up 16. Will Weisbrod this is his first start. Don't know really much about him. Up 17 spots. Further on back, Johan Scherzai, 14 spots. 12 spots gained by Chris Stewart. So, and even Christopher Hill is up 11 spots. So it's just by nature of surviving, these guys are moving up. And you know what I always say, it's always easier to pass the cars when they're in the pits, instead of being on the racetrack.
So we're green flag once again. Hopefully getting some clean laps here, but our 2 champions of the series previously are 1 and 2 in the field. I just make that note.
And we're cautioned again. We're cautioned again.
I see Nick Stein possibly.
Nick Stein, yeah.
His car has all 4 wheels attached.
And he just got on the radio and congratulated everyone for not making him a target. Looks like everyone he kind of got loose again going into turn 1. Same thing going on there. I'm willing to bet. Let me just check my replay here real quick. But I think he just kind of broke loose and... I
think some of these drivers here are using a little bit too much weight jacker early on. And that weight jacker...
I think at this point it's not enough weight jacker, to be honest with you, and it's causing these cars to get loose when they turn in, to make that initial turn in. They don't have the downforce that they normally would on the front to make these turns, and the back end has all of the downforce because of that big wing sticking out, and it's causing the back ends to come around and the front ends to kind of steer down out of the classic loose oversteer situation, and again, that's what happened. So they might need to go a little bit more negative on the weight jacker, at least on the first lap or 2, before settling in and these tires get up to speed. So again, we're right back into the same situation. Let's see if more people decide to make that jump down pit road to top off, and that might be critical.
Stein kept it off the wall, just FYI.
He did. He absolutely did, and everyone missed him as you're watching this replay. So he's just going to go in and get some fresh tires and top off, and actually it might work out to be to his advantage, considering how this first stint plays out.
Hey Gary, I did exactly. Michael just told me I left the music on, so I apologize. Obviously with the mess up in the consolation race, that got missed, so I apologize for it. That was Shane Coogan's music for the RIL here.
We like the beat. We like the beat.
We like the beat for the first 7 laps here. Unfortunately, I didn't have to listen to it. So
Gavin Sanders made up a couple of spots, and so did Will Weisbrod. It's spelled Weisbrod. So if I'm using my German, that's a Weisbrod. 18th. He's up 18 spots. So they're steadily moving their way up, but they're not getting a lot of racing time to do it. But when they do get racing time, they're maximizing.
Yeah, I mean, on top of that, we're kind of expecting this race to be a little bit of a pack race, honestly. So we're going to see if that happens if we get some green flag running here. A heck of a move here for Gavin Sanders to move up to 11th from that 27th start.
Drivers are already saying they are very happy there isn't a tire limit set here. Actually, Indy Fixed, if you do any of the Indy Fixed official races with the iRacing service, they have tire limits this year. They have 3, so you have the set you start on plus 2 more in the pits, which frankly for that series is more than enough. The Velocity Online Racing Series does 5 sets of tires, which in the length of their races is more than enough there. Dakota was doing something there, but there's no tire. No tire. Yeah, no kidding. No tire limits here. These guys can go in and 1 lap go get another set if they want to.
Yeah, we actually talked about that today with the admin crew here, and I was saying that's one of the things that the VOR League, Velocity Online Racing, does well. I think it's the only league that I can think of that does tire limits, so other leagues should think about it.
And it is a bit of a thing that people don't know. The IndyCar does give their drivers, their teams, a set of tires per weekend. They do have a limit they have to meet. Often you don't hear drivers getting to that limit because either they manage the resources they have, or they just never really quite dig deep into that stack of tires. But a lot of times they'll kind of not turn a blind eye to it, but they will, for safety reasons, allow like a team to bring their like B team car tires to the A team to help them if they're running low or something. But it's not strictly enforced as we would see at maybe some of the higher Cup series, NASCAR series where they have tire limits. But they do have them in IndyCar. It's just not as well known, really.
Exactly, and we're about to go back to green here.
And Christian Jasper reminding everyone to check their ARBs going into turn 1.
Yeah, I would say it's more of that weight jacker issue where what you were saying, Gary. Be in the negative for that first couple corners, and then put it to wherever you were wanting to put it from there.
Yeah, that's normally when I'm racing with my teammates as we're coming to green on that last lap, as we just do a mental checklist. Bring your engine mapping up to 1 or 2 or whatever you want to set at. Make sure you have negative weight jacker going into turn 1, and then remind everyone to reset it by the time they get down to into the backstretch, which we are now here. And here comes Dakota.
We've got a car spinning, 2 cars spinning, in fact. Single car spins. JJ Wang, another car. Not sure who that other one was. It was Nick Stein again, possibly. Yes, it was. So these drivers not learning after this first experience here. So we remain under caution.
So it looks like we got a little bit of eye pacing going on.
In fact, we've got a car going through the grass back here.
Who's that?
I lost it because let's see if I can figure out who that is. John Cosgrove. I'm sorry, John, but we're getting a replay of this. The world has to know. He's in the Aero McLaren and about P30. Yep. He loses it, goes through a ride through the air, through the apron, and through the grass. So that under tray of that car is not going to be appreciating that.
No, it's tubes down there, and it's all of its various angled slots and whatnot where they channel the air through is probably kind of full of some grass right now. So he might need to get that checked out in the pits.
Now we've got cars majorly faking going into the pit lane. They're just
it's still too early for that, really.
They're just having some fun up there. I think I saw Caleb actually do that, and Dakota maybe. Our drivers at the front of the field. Just wait to do that until you run it into the wall or something, guys. All right.
Are you on mute?
No, not now.
Okay.
I think we should get a word from our sponsors, though.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Because there's only so much time we can fill here. Thank God we have Schaeffer's Oil as a sponsor here.
There's 2 types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment, and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon, and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaeffer, and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaeffer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaeffer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.
You know what sucks is that.
All right, we are back.
All right.
And we are still under pacing, pacing the event here tonight, Michigan International Speedway. It might surprise you to learn that our first race here nearly went caution-free. So, the history book's there.
Well, that's interesting how this track works out to be. I mean, you can have big fields, you can have small fields. It just really depends on, who's racing them and what the conditions are. But I've been in a number of Michigan races where it's gone flag to flag, caution free. It turned into a mileage race. I've been in a couple where it's, race for 8 laps and then pace for 4 and then race for 8 and pace for another 4. That's very annoying. But Michigan, it doesn't, you wouldn't think it now because you're watching it on right now on the stream, but really it does quite frequently, more often than not, really put on a lot of green flag racing laps when you see the official series come through here. And You know, even when some of these other leagues like VOR and I know that the on the sister track, the FIS was at Fontana, and you had very few caution laps in that race too. So it just really matters about you know, who's in the cars, I guess.
It really does. You mentioned it earlier, Gary. Strength of field is all too important. Experience out here. But I'm not
There's
sure.
a lot of chatter on the
honestly.
radio right now. A lot of chatter on the radio. So these guys are wanting to get racing. So they need to clam up a little bit so they can get people to focus in here. But we're coming to green. Well, we got the defending champ Dakota DeMay, P1, Caleb Binsey in P2. Talon Smith's just been kind of hanging around there in P3. Will Zeller, the road guy, P4, and Drew White's moved himself up 6 spots into P5 in the very limited amount of racing we've done already.
Well, we'll see if Will Zeller brings up his bump drafting technique here as we get some green flag running.
Good jump by Dakota going off into turn 1. We'll see if everyone kind of makes it through turn 1.
I did see Chris Hill is taking the pit lane. He might have had a passing under yellow kind of thing at the restart, possibly. We're still getting cars coming out of turn 2. Everybody cleanly through. Ken Coogan taking it 3 wide into turn 3 back here for about 28th position.
Gavin Sanders, Joshua Tucker getting wheel to wheel right there in turn 3. Tucker actually took it 3 wide going into 3. A little ambitious there very early in the race, guys. Just kind of settled in. Let's settle in here and get this pack organized so you can run down the leaders, because if you start fighting too much, you're going to lose the draft. 1.5 seconds is about the draft envelope for these cars.
Well, I can see why Shane was doing it in the back, because he was about 30th position, but you don't need to quite be doing that when you're about that 10th position. You're probably okay. So our leaders kind of side by side up here. This is the kind of race we're expecting to see for once we get some green flag going here, side by side at the front. Of course, at the front, you're going to be burning the most amount of fuel you can, although maybe that's thrown out the window at this point. These drivers can do about, I mean, on their own, they do 36 at the front of the field, but with a little bit of drafting help, it's pretty easy to make it to about 40 laps on the fuel window. A 2x2 at the front.
A little bit further back on the tail end of the top 10. Ty Richter working with Joshua Tucker there. Almost got himself in the 10th spot. Got loose coming off of 2. Gained it back. Now getting back into the draft. Taking the high line through turns 3 and 4 and trying to run down Tucker one more time. Gavin's kind of separated himself from Tucker's attack. Is now solid and by himself in P9. Trying to run down Holler, who is about 0.3 of a second right in front of him.
Yeah, and on board with Gavin Sanders at the moment, you can see just that whole gaggle of cars from 1st to 8th just kind of all over one another up there, and he's looking to join that group.
See, he's in a good spot right there where he's really kind of by himself for the most part, and he could turn down the boost a little bit, the engine mapping just a tick, and still have enough of the benefit of the aero draft there to help pull him into this battle without using as much fuel as those guys are ahead of him.
Talon Smith looking to take the lead here, battling with our previous champions. Drew White also moving up in here as well.
Look at him going through 3 and 4. 5 distinct different lines going through turns 3 and 4. That is a staple of Michigan International Raceway, or Speedway, sorry. MIS. There we go, Gavin on the high side of Herman there. And he is using that OP high side right now. He's going to get a massive run there on Holler. He's going to duck to the inside. Holler's going to take it, try to give him a little bit of a block, a little bit of a fade. Thinks better of it. Now Gavin's down low, and he does not really have the preferred line. Here comes Ty Richter on the outside. We're going to make it 2x2x2 for about 3 rows deep here, and this is all for a battle for about 10th, 11th, and 12th place.
Yeah, we've
3
got
wide
3
going into
wide.
turn 1.
Nate Schaeffer in the middle there. Will Zeller's got to be wondering.
Oh, Gavin coming around. Oh, no.
With,
And he
Hayden
collects Tucker
Herman.
and he collects Herman. And we got cars behind him. We got one of the driveline cars getting collected. That is
Cody Claiborne.
very uncharacteristic of Gavin Sanders.
Cody's still moving at least. I think he might be okay, but certainly a little bit of wing damage there. We'll get a replay of this. We're caution on the track right at a fuel window here, so we're going to be...
Yeah, it's close enough that they're going to start hitting pit road. I don't know what happened to Gavin, but it looks like Gavin came around on his own.
Yeah. Let me get this replay pulled up for everybody. Yeah, if I can say my words correctly, definitely uncharacteristic of Gavin. We were 3 wide though, so it's.
Well, and he's on that bottom seam, and that bottom seam is not very friendly. Ooh, who was that pink car that got by? Not sure who that was, but he got by the skin of his teeth.
It might have been that white.
That Will?
Broad? Yeah, I'm thinking that's who it was. Yeah, unfortunate for one of our championship contenders here, Gavin Sanders, in the series. He's kind of been, I don't know, I'd have to look at the point situation from the previous season, but he's definitely, he's got wins and he's a championship contender. So Dakota DeMade, all of our leaders coming through the pit lane.
I don't know if I want to get back into that mess. I mean, the way things are going, I would either risk a green flag pit stop or probably watch another caution happen and then ducked in at that point. But some people are staying out. Christian Jasper appears as one of them.
I think we've got some strategy about to play out here. Neil Lusher in the lead of the race here.
Yeah, that was Will making that dive to the inside and missing 3 cars. Great driving on his part.
Yep.
So after 22 laps, we're only 1/5 of the way through this right now.
Yeah.
Neil Usher is your current leader. He's up 15 spots. Caleb Bency, P2. Dakota DeMade, P3. Drew White, P4. Nate Schaeffer up 15 spots, up to P5. Talon Smith is currently P6. Will Zeller now up to P7. Ty Richter with the fastest lap of the race with a 32.902 second lap. Of course, that is draft aided, back at P8. Michael Holler, P9. And Will Ricebroad with that amazing dodgeball move that he made down there in the backstretch off the exit of 2 is currently P10. But really, anybody inside, I would say the top 25, I mean, certainly has a chance right now, as long as they're on the lead lap. But actually, looking at that, 21 cars are currently on the lead lap. It's actually 22 cars are on the lead lap. 23 on down are showing a lap down. Not sure what happened to them, why they're back a lap. Maybe because of damage, or maybe they got caught behind the pace car. We'll see, but we'll see how that shakes out.
Yeah, I'm seeing like Chris Hill was a lap down. Jasper's a lap down.
So Kresge's saying that he was -3 on the weight jacker when he began spinning. Oh, okay. Maybe -6 next time? I don't know. It's so easy. I always say with my school of thought is it's better to go too much than not enough.
Yeah.
Because I can always
2 corners. Yeah.
Yeah, I can always roll out of it, and it's only lap 1 of the race, and I know that if it's just lap 1, I have another 99 laps to get back anything I just lost. So I would just always better the push than the be loose.
And we were talking about strength of field earlier in this race, Gary. It's no, it's pretty obvious. We've got most of the drivers in the top 10 here are higher I-rating cars. Caleb Bency, Dakota DeMade, Nate Schaeffer, very high oval rating. Well, I think we're about to go green here. Neil Lusher's going to bring us to green, and Neil is pretty experienced in these cars too, so he's going to fight for this one. We will see the difference in tire.
Big jump by Dakota. He's already past Caleb, and he's already on the inside of Lusher and past Lusher going into turn 2.
Yeah, he turned up that wick.
Yeah, he did. And here comes Drew White. He's going to go 3 wide, 2 wide right there with Lusher. He's got Seifert's moved himself up to P3. If you remember, Drew White had a really, really good race going on at Auto Club when we visited Auto Club there last season.
That's right.
So he's looking for a little bit of super speedway redemption tonight.
I can tell you, and I mentioned this to you in private, Gary, I know that Drew White's, he's kind of, he really loves these super speedways because he was running over an official Indy Fixed over on the Daytona track this last week. He's done a ton of races, so he loves this stuff.
Here comes Caleb to the inside of Dakota. There are not teams here in the RIL, but there are teams on the track, and those two guys are working together in another channel somewhere. So they're working together, getting those passes down pat, so they're not holding each other up. Here comes Drew down to the bottom side under Seifert to take P3, taking a look now under Bency. Don't get too low. That's where you got loose last time with Gavin.
Yeah, that lowest line in these corners just has, I don't know if the banking is different, but it certainly feels like it's different down there. If these corners are 18 degrees, it feels about, 16 degrees down on that bottom lane. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, Gary. So,
yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes, some people prefer their cars when they handle that way. Looks like Neil Lusher is heading to pit road. They can handle the cars down there and when they get that loose. Others can't. Talon Smith on the inside of Caleb Bency doesn't have the preferred high-speed line coming off of corner 2. That's going to be the high side. You're going to watch Drew and Caleb suck right up. Oh, really Seifert had to get onto the brakes or roll off the throttle massively before running to the back of Smith.
Zeller.
Underneath him, now we got Will Zeller into this battle.
Yeah, Zeller, even with that little checkup, though, he didn't really gain that much, and that's kind of what you were saying, Gary, where the high line kind of, once this race, we saw Dakota at the start of the run really make that move on the inside line as they're coming up to Neil Lusher coming out of the pits, I see. Causing a little bit of
Neil's got to be looking in his rearview mirror going, where should I go? Because he goes right to the inside, which is not a bad place to go. Good on him.
Unless that's a speeding penalty or something like that. I don't know what Neil was doing there. He'll let us know, I'm sure.
Starting to appear in the picture now, right behind Zeller, is Holler in P8. He's starting to work his way up there in that Chicago liveried looking machine of his. 4 different distinct lines going to turns 3 and 4 that time, coming back onto the tri-oval area. 3 wide. Talon Smith taking a look to the low side there of Ty Richter. Ty Richter pulling his car up into the battle now. Currently, he is your fastest lap holder.
Looked like a little bobble for Talon Smith, though, at the entry of turn 1, and he slowed up just slightly. I see Chris Cawthorn making a start here. We haven't seen Chris for a little while, but he was pretty good in a turbo season a couple seasons back, or maybe it was a season and a half back, going for that championship. I think that was the one that James Watson ended up winning.
We got a new car entering the top 10. Charles Baldwin just entering the top 10, right along with Chris Cawthorn.
Neil Lusher confirming it was a speeding penalty. See Charles Baldwin sporting that high line through these corners, and he's making up some positions that way.
Yeah, the high line is the OP line around here. That will get you a massive run down the backstretch, even without the aid of the draft. I'm afraid, though, at some point with some of the experience levels, maybe some of these drivers are not to expect to have a car on their outside making a move like that. Might come up and pinch someone against the wall. So tread lightly going on the outside down that backstretch if you have someone to your inside.
When you do that, you can make some moves out there on the outside, but you're at the peril of that guy underneath.
Caution, caution, and a turn 4, turn 3. We got 2 in the ball.
Oh, we've got Lewis Woodall. Oh, another car later coming through that and having an issue. I don't know who that was, but Woodall. Still some cars coming up pretty quick to this wreck here. Let's get a replay, though. Woodall's going to try to drive it back to the pits, though. Not sure if that's a
Okay,
good
so it
idea.
looks like he was collected. Lewis was collected. And that was Nick Stein again, I think.
Oh, man, he's over the apron big time.
Yeah, so Nick Stein, what happened there? He got his left front onto the apron, the transition there that unloads the car, the back end. Exactly what happened there. Actually went a little 3 wide going into the corner.
Yeah.
Probably thought he had a little less room than he really did in reality. That's why he got so low. Hits the corner and collects Woodall, who was just an innocent bystander and all that. I think and just more cars rolling through there. You just got to watch yourself. There goes Chris Hill through, and also watching Shane Coogan make their way through. But I would say after on his 3rd spin, the day is done for Nick Stein. There's no coming back from this one.
I see JJ Wang was the late car that came into this incident here.
So we do have the lucky dog here, which is not normally an IndyCar thing. It's more of a NASCAR gimmick, and we do deploy it here. And I believe Cody Claiborne is going to benefit from that and will be the lucky dog for this particular caution period.
Well, we're about a third of the way through this race, and I think we're down to about half of the cars that started it. Maybe just a couple north of that. So that's where we're at here, folks. I'm seeing, do we have some pit stops there? Yes, we did. We had, here's some strategy playing out. So from 1st to 8th, opted to stay out, whereas our leaders, previously anyway, Caleb Bensi, Dakota DeMade, and everybody behind them have opted to take those fresh tires. So Nate Schaeffer going to be our new leader. More cars faking going in the pits. Dakota started something there, I think. Total NASCAR thing. You don't really ever see that in IndyCar. So that's going to put Ty Richter into P3. Matthew Short up to P5.
Yeah, he's had a good run. Let's take a look at some of these positions gained. Seaford up 19, Drew White up 9, Richter up 18, Charles Baldwin up 29, Matthew Short, I saw a shout out for him in chat, up 10 spots. Weisbrod just kind of been hanging out in the top 10 here for the better part of like the last 2 cautions. It seems like he's up 24, and Johan Shirai, we got to get clarification on that, Johan. We're very, very sorry, but still up 25 spots. Sean Ryan, any other race up 9 spots would be something worth mentioning. He's only up 9, but it puts him in the top 10. And then, of course, all these guys pitted on lap 22, so they're going to have slightly older tires, about 13 laps older than the guys that just pitted here at lap 34. But Bensi, DeMade, Zeller, Smith, Holler, Cothern, Barry, Stewart, Tucker, Watson, Claiborne, actually Watson all pitted on lap 34. I believe Cody Claiborne did get the wave around, so he is the last car on the lead lap, I believe. And we're getting ready to go green here, not too far. These long caution periods are a little excessive right now. Hopefully we can get these sped up a little bit.
Well, Nate Schaeffer is going to bring us back to the green flag here, and we'll see if we can get some green flag running. At least a decent run there. And we know from some of those Indy fixed races that we broadcast that Nate Schaeffer really likes that high line. So, yeah. Yeah, nearly
lap
3
30,
wide coming out of 22.
Lap 36, at least probably another 2 more stops each one of these cars have to do.
Yeah.
Drew White, he's like, I'm not going to save any fuel. Screw this. I am going to pass Nate Seifert.
And we know that from Drew from that Auto Club race, was it, that he's just going to go for it. He wants to lead laps.
Here comes Ty Richter, moving himself all the way up into the 3rd spot. He is on the high line, and he's going to make it work down the backstretch. Watch this as he gets the run on Drew White.
We'll go on board with him.
Oh, jeez. And here's Charles Baldwin, and this is one of Ty Richter's corporate teammates over from the Velocity Online Racing stable of teams. These two are on different teams in the VOR series, but they're part of the same corporate structure, and they are working together, moving their way up to the front right now using that high line.
Charles Baldwin up from 33rd position to 4th. What was it in 1992 at the Indianapolis 500? Was Scott Goodyear, did he start 33rd? Was that
Yeah, Scott Goodyear, had to start 33rd because he had a driver qualify for him for the position. So he started 33rd because that was the rule at the time, and he drove himself all the way up to 2nd. There's never been a driver to start 33rd to win the Indy 500. There's been a couple drivers to come close. Tom Sneva came close. Mario Andretti's come close. Scott Goodyear came close. Ironically, Scott Goodyear, the year he finished 2nd in Indianapolis in 92, where he started 33rd, he won the Michigan 500 right here in Brooklyn, Michigan later that season. Was the first Canadian driver to do so.
There you go, and that's why we've got Gary here as our IndyCar historian. Matthew Short getting up into this battle here in 5th position.
I got a bit of a 6-car battle as we got another car starting to sneak their way in, that all-black car. Not sure who that is.
That was Sean Ryan.
Okay, so that's P7 in the 909.
Yeah, I was going to make note, you were making mention of Johans running the 007 car back here. So, kind of a cool number.
Oh, little bit of, I would say maybe a little bit of a block there by Drew White on Seifert as he tried to pull out on him, but nothing too harmful. Can't say it was an actual block. I can't even say it was a Pruitt fade, but it caused Seifert to definitely check up and think twice. Now Seifert has a look at his inside. Here comes Ty Richter. Ty Richter's going to have the 8 of the draft with Drew White. He's going to pull him around. Seifert's going to still hold on and get the lead, but down below Richter right there is Short, who's worked his way up into this battle.
We're on board with Short. He gets Charles Baldwin and goes around on the outside of exit of the triangle into turn 1 now.
So when you ride up that high, what happens is when you exit these corners, that wall comes up on you really quick. So I've seen a lot of people ride that high line and then all of a sudden on exit smack the wall. It's kind of living by the sword and dying by the sword. So you got to be careful up there, especially if you get some understeer. You don't have as much room to rescue yourself as you would normally if you were a little bit lower, and you'll end up bending up your right side of your car if you smack the wall there coming off of 2 or 4.
Well, we'll see how long we can last up here with these drivers.
Baldwin on the Larson line, if we got to use a NASCAR comparison. Got a lot more guys starting to work their way into this battle. Bency now up to P9. Will Zeller up to P10.
Bency's kind of has the preferred fuel strategy here at this moment. These other cars, 22, 23 laps on their stint up here from 1st to 9th. And Bency only 10 laps on his tires.
They probably have another 15 laps or so that they can spend up here before they have to pit. And then we get the dreaded green flag pit stops at the big 2-mile super speedway. And that could open up a whole other can of worms for folks, especially if they're not watching what's going on in front of a 3 wide going into 1. Drew's trying to squeeze Ty a little bit. Ty's got his wheels in there. Let's see. Watch him. Let's get a run down the backstretch here. Oh, Drew comes right up on him. Ty still with that fastest lap of the race.
So talking green flag stops, we were talking to some of the drivers earlier, and they said that, you know, there's a chance there won't be green flag stops. However, with the amount of attrition we've had out here, you know, the more attrition we have, the more likely it is we're going to have. And I see Caleb
someone got squirrely back there. Not sure who that was.
I think it was Ryan, possibly.
Yeah, it got a little squirrely, but it recovered. You know, at this point in this particular run, these guys maybe just want to stick it behind one another and try to get some mileage and make this last as long as possible and hope to get that caution, because right now, the way it looks, they're headed for a green flag pit stop, and that's going to put them down a lap.
But we know Drew White up here, he's not thinking that way. He just wants to leave. No,
and Schaeffer is up onto the barrier there, up onto cushion. Fastest lap is Richter with a 2:24.441, and that's a miles per hour right there. So that's what a 32.092 equates to on a 2-mile oval.
Matthew Short looking to take the lead. Will he keep it at the line though, with Drew White trying to come back on it? He will at the line.
You got that one right there. So some valuable leading points there, bonus points for leading the lap. Side by side, going in the one, each one getting a little closer to another on the entrance. Spreading out. Got to watch Seifert on the high side. On the inside is Ty Richter. Ty Richter's going to stick behind Drew White. Here comes Will.
Just looking, was trying to figure out who a certain car was on here, and it was Johan.
Say Will's in that almost at Helio Castro Neves winning livery looking ride there in that pink and black Sirius XM.
That is, I don't know if it actually is that car, but it certainly
but it looks real similar to it, yeah.
He might have a different sponsor on it or something like that. We did see success from, I don't remember who it was, but there was a driver that did do quite well running the Helio Castro Neves livery last season. And Will's thinking about going inside.
No, you don't want to do that. Not. Yeah, you saw kind of what happened to Gavin when you got down there. Oh, Short got pushed up.
Oh boy, yeah. That was almost going to be taking it 4 wide though for Will.
Yeah, Short's giving a small apology right there on the radio.
Ooh, they almost left a wheel bang in there between Drew White and Short.
Ooh, getting close. And on front of them, they're going to have to deal with the aero wash of a lapped car, which I believe is Tucker, who was involved in the Gavin Sanders incident.
Yeah, we'll see if a lapped car opts for a safe line for these leaders to get around him, on board with Nate Schaeffer. Nate's going to try to get some tow from that lapped car.
Yeah, he is. He's going to use every tool available to him to get back up there with that group. So far, everyone's safely around Tucker. Next up ahead of them is Cosgrove, who's in P23.
Had a little blink there from Nate, so that's what you don't want at 230 miles an hour.
These cars now 30 laps on this current stint. So, they are probably due here in the next 10 laps or so.
So I think that this is a good strategy call for these guys out here that stayed out. I mean, sure, they're in the hornet's nest at the moment, but if they can survive that hornet's nest, I think they're good to go with one stop to the end, just like everybody else is in this.
And there's also 2 distinct groups out there. If you look behind, let's see, Charles Baldwin's kind of hanging on along with Will Zero and Sean Ryan, but you got to go back. Dakota DeMade's back by himself in P12, and then it's a pretty big drop back to Michael Berry in P13.
Yeah, Dakota's about a second back from Sean Ryan up there in 11th. Caleb Bensey's kind of wanting to join the Hornets Nest up here, and
well, he's going to inherit a big lead if all these guys have to pit all at once.
Got a little bit of snaking on the back straightaway here with Drew White.
Still a little bit early for that, I would say.
Will diving low here, so he's another driver that's up. I mean, there's a ton of drivers that are up a whole bunch of positions here. He started 30th. He's in 4th at the moment.
Proving once again, it doesn't matter how fast you are, just how smart you drive.
Ooh, I thought I saw, I'm not sure who that was. Get pretty high there. It might have been Ty Richter.
Starting to get a bit of a single file attack. Here comes Will Zeller down low in turns 3 and 4, trying to pick up a few spots. He's underneath Caleb. Caleb's going to chop him down, chops him off.
And we can't really read it on his car, but I remember this from previously, and he hasn't changed it. But Will Zeller's running a livery that is for an older kind of sim racing news website, like from literally a decade ago, called Race Department. And I don't know, somebody linked an article from them recently. I was like, wow, that's a blast from the past. But that's what Will is running on his car.
He said he's won races in the league before, but primarily on road courses.
Yeah.
And he said on the interview that he is not an oval racer and he does not like them. But here he is, proving once again that the best drivers can race on ovals and road courses.
Yeah, I think that Will might be just one of these guys that doesn't want to drive around under caution so much. So
just like you.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, exactly.
I tell you what, is it 007 and 909 teammates? They look like they have like similar sponsors on the side, and they are right now on each other's tire tracks like they got this thing planned.
I feel like they are. We've got.
I think they have the similar. They also have like a similar nose marking too.
And I'm going to go ahead and say it, but we've got a few anime cars out here. We've got the waifu car. I think he might be out of the race by now, but those guys are certainly on the radio together. So we've got a few new drivers in here, with Zeller going really low in that corner.
Yeah, we got one of them in the middle here of this particular battle with the 007 and the 909, and Caleb right in front of him. I think it's Smith. Yeah, Talon Smith. He's one of the anime cars.
Yep, there you go.
Kind of hanging on to the back here. Charles, Baldwin, and Dakota have pulled themselves up a little bit closer, but they're at a safe enough distance that if there's a big one, hopefully they'll be able to miss it.
Yeah, we saw Dakota, you know, when he was at the front.
And we got green flag pit stops. Green flag pit stops are happening right now. Leaders are coming on the pit road.
Let's see, who do we have? That is...
Short.
We have there? Short? Okay, yep, we've got Short. Talon Smith, I think?
Matthew Short, Talon Smith making their way on the pit road.
So I would expect...
Painfully slow, 55 miles an hour.
Yeah,
into
we are
their
at lap
spot.
60, so this is kind of right at the moment. Nate Schaeffer, I expect, is going to be coming down here shortly. Looks like it's going to be... Nope. Oh, he goes around one more lap at least. Which is surprising because he's been leading so much here, so...
And as you see, the leaders come around the cars that just pitted, so they are now a lap down. So this is danger zone. If there's a caution, these guys are going to be caught a lap down. Hopefully they can get a little bit further into the pit cycle where they can kind of like be the last cars at the lead lap and then get the wave around, if that's the type of thing. But right now they are a lap down, and they are...
Schaeffer into the pits, Drew White into the pits.
And we also got Charles Baldwin. Looks like he's in the pit road too as well. Everyone hitting their marks. Remember, a second lost time here in the pits is about a football field on the racetrack.
And as you said, I think that Caleb Bensey's going to inherit a pretty large lead here.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a huge lead, and it was going to be him and lap 34, so it's going to be Will Zeller will be the next car that pitted on that cycle. It'll be him and Zeller.
And then
Dakota, yeah.
But is Dakota going to have a drafting partner there? I'm not
and right now, Caleb is just kind of following in the wake here of Will, and it's just helping his mileage. And Will has the pit, so this is like bonus time for. And Will just declared he's pitting.
Yeah, he's
going to stay down low.
42 laps though, so that's pretty impressive. A couple of those laps were under caution, but he's solidly gone 40 laps. All those cars
Johan and Sean Ryan, their teammates, and they are still going 42 laps on this current stint.
Mm-hmm. Will Zeller right behind them.
Will Zeller, 30 laps into his current stint. So, okay, so looks like the two teammates up front are declaring at the same time. So it pretty much seals it for me. Their teammates.
Do you like to pit with your teammates here at this kind
of
track?
Yes.
Okay.
Here, yes. You need the drafting partner. Any other time, they're just arrow push.
Whoa, and Sean Ryan loses it. Keeps it off of the wall, though, but that's going to set him back pretty good.
That's going to set him back big time. Hopefully not a black flag for unsafe pit road driving or anything, but that's really going to cost him. Effectively, if there's not a caution here, that's going to cost him the race.
Yeah, certainly.
So back on the racetrack, we got Caleb Binsey, Will Zeller, Dakota DeMaid, Michael Berry, Chris Cothern, Chris Stewart, James Watson, who's worked his way into the battle. Caution on the racetrack.
Whoa. Right in front of James Watson. I'm not sure. I think it might have been Cothern. Yes, it was. At least he was involved in it anyway. I don't know if he's inching it down the track. We'll get a replay of this in a moment, but yeah.
He ran up over the 41. Chris Cothern.
Who hit him, or somebody hit him?
It was the 15 just runs over the 41.
So Chris Stewart. Let's see what we've got here. Getting a replay now.
Yeah, the 41 was just running, and he just ran right over him. That's not really what he was expecting.
Well,
and his race is done.
He's got the rowdy livery on, from what I can tell. Stewart does, so that might have something to do with it.
So now all those guys that pitted, they're lapped down, and this is exactly what I told you that they didn't want to see happen. Happened right here. So worst case situation for some of these guys is happening now. Caleb, actually, it's a pretty good time for the guys that pitted on lap 34. They might want to think about ducking down now, and they might be good to go.
Oh, they're good to go from here. We're good to go.
Yeah, from here on out. Yeah.
Everybody's
Chris Cothern's trying to get to pit road, and it's just not working for him.
Yeah, I've been there before. You got that right rear suspension. It's futile effort.
I think Nate Seifert said that he's the lucky dog, so he's going to be getting the waiver round. Went from leading just a few laps ago to being the lucky dog.
We should have some cars also getting a waiver round, though.
Yeah, we'll see a great deal of them. Let's. I'm going to try to find where the pace car is and who's all immediately behind the pace car. Looks like
we've got a bunch of cars. Johan's in the lead, but man, he's got like 10 cars or something. Drew White, maybe? Let's see if I can figure out who it is. I think it is Talon Smith will be the first car by the pace car to get that wave round. So literally everybody from about 8th is going to get a wave around here, and we're going to have a bunch of cars on the lead lap. I don't think he got that wave around yet, but he was thinking about going.
No, they'll get that wave around like a lap or two before we go green. They don't have time to hit pit road if they wanted to.
I'm going to give us a chance to give another commercial time for our valued sponsor, Schaeffer's Oil, so we'll let them talk about themselves.
There's two types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment, and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon, and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaeffer, and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaeffer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaeffer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.
All right, we are back. Cars getting a wave around. We're going to have Johan Shirazi, possibly his name, in the lead here. Lights out on the pace car. But as we saw previously, leading, coming back to a green flag isn't really the place to be, maybe. Maybe you want to be 3rd or 4th. Dakota DeMaid's going to be 4th there. He was the action man on one of our restarts. Haven't talked about Michael Berry here. He's in 5th, starting 31st. I can tell you James Watson was a little bit worried about making the field here tonight after that Velocity Online Racing Daytona event where he just missed it.
D and Q'd there.
Yeah, with how many cars we were going to have qualifying here tonight, he was certainly worried about it.
Getting ready to go green. Shirazi is your leader, and we are back underway, hopefully to the finish.
007 car brings us. Watson tried to get a good jump, but it looks like he had to check up there.
Careful back there. Yeah, they had to. Some of the cars were starting to duck down to the inside before the start-finish line. You got to be careful. Sometimes the car in front of you could sucker you into that, and then let off the accelerator and let you on by, and then all of a sudden you got yourself a black flag. Wow, Shirazi actually.
Yeah.
Wait, caution on the racetrack one more time. Sean Ryan, maybe.
Yeah, I'm seeing Ryan is slow. Let's see if we can get a replay. It might have been a self-spin off.
Yeah, that's exactly coming up the speed and getting loose. Right there on the low line. And right on exit. On cue.
It's hard to remember at this point if some of these drivers have done this previously or not.
It's like, have you not been watching the race? Well,
Yeah.
from a different point of view, I guess. Yeah.
But he keeps it going. That really didn't quite need to be a caution based on sometimes our iRacing cautions are overly sensitive. Other times, I mean, in real life, no doubt that is a caution. But sometimes in iRacing, a self-spin like that, not a caution. But yeah, that was pretty aggressive there on that restart. I only caught a glimpse of it between Shirazi and Bensi there. Bensi's going to know that on this restart and think about that for what he opts to do. Lights still on the pace car, so we got at least a couple more laps here.
All these cars are causing my graphics card to go. Ugh.
Is it the gravity, or do you hear the fan, or is it?
It's just everything right now. There's just so much action going on with these going so fast, and then some of them have some highly detailed paints and everything. Yeah, it's just my machine is asking for a little mercy at the moment. We'll see if we can get it through the race here, so we can get us all to the finish.
Luckily, we're holding up pretty well on the broadcast, at least. So I'm trying to think back to largest fields we might have broadcast here on the channel, and this is certainly up there. We did some majors events that had a lot of cars as well. We did that.
Well, and we've of course did the FIS races, which had a lot as well. So
yeah, we had 38 or 39 in the Indianapolis race, I believe.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, we did that. There was a Bathurst one I also did that had a bunch of cars as well. Yeah, we draw everything, so that nobody's blinking out. So that's why when you have 36 cars on the track, or at one point on the track, it causes some issues from time to time. Lights should be going out on the pace car here as we come across the start-finish line. There they are. We're one lap to go. We're going to get to try this again. What do we have in terms of cars on? We have 19 cars on the lead lap at the... No, wait, sorry, that's a mistake. 15 cars on the lead lap at the moment. I was looking at the wrong column. We're going to head back to green and have about 27 laps to go. Nobody's going to have to pit.
Yeah, everyone should be good to go from here on out. And Yeah, next week's going to be a big change. We're going to Mid-Ohio, so join us next Wednesday, right here at about 7:55 Eastern Time at youtube.com/raceverse, and we'll have the Mid-Ohio Grand Prix, 40 laps at Mid-Ohio on the road course. Slightly change of pacing if this pack racing is not your style.
And I guess we'll note Will Zeller will be happy to be there. He was really, I believe he won. I believe he ran Mid-Ohio the first season. I'm pretty sure he won it. He's one of our ringers there. I mean, like, he's our road course ringer. He's in third at the moment. So shout out to him. He's doing well here tonight.
Well, talent knows talent, and I always figured that he was always good to run on ovals, and just wasn't his thing to do, but I figured if once you got him on here, he would do well. So he's proven his point. He started up high, avoided all the problems, up in third spot, playing it safe. Got Dakota all over his gearbox at the moment, and we are back to green with about 27 laps to go.
Didn't see anybody like really making the jump before the start-finish line, but we've got some cars thinking about going low here. Drew White looking to make a move on... Oh, Drew White getting into the back of Hill. It looked like here, and the Hill was a lapped car. So we had some lapped cars in the middle of stuff there. That took out Will Weisbrod. I think that's what we were saying his name was.
We got in the back of Hill.
So I think it was Drew White getting back into the back of Hill. Drew White wanted to go, he had some lap cars ahead of him.
Oh yeah, he did, and
he might have lost it on his own though. I can't tell. Let me get a slow-mo on this one from Hill and see what happened here.
It was a wee bit aggressive there. I mean, they at least allow cars to get situated. I know restarts is where people can make up the most positions, but let's just get situated. Still got a quarter of the race to go, guys.
Yeah. So, and I don't know if Drew White's now going to have some damage on his front end. I'm not sure. It doesn't appear to be, but you never know. You might want to just come through the pit lane to make sure you don't. So, well, I think this is another opportunity here that I don't think I said it, Gary, but I was thinking it. I was like, maybe we would not have any more time for commercials, but I think we do have time for some commercials.
I think Schaeffer's getting their money's worth. Let's pay them bills. Yeah,
we're gonna put on the long one here too. So
ever since I've switched to Schaeffer's oil, I've never had a reason to even try anything else, and that's one thing that I'm proud about, is the fact that I can't tell you how good something else is, because I know how good Schaeffer's oil is. My engine builders, Tony and Glenn Clements, have said about the oil we run. They've told us that out of all the motors that they get and rebuild every year, ours looks the best, and a lot of that has to do with the oil that we run. One of the things that I love about Schaeffer's oil is the fact that all of their reps are out in the field and at the racetracks with us, seeing what all the racers need, seeing what ideas we have or anything that we can improve on. And you just can't beat the customer service of having a rep for one of the main components of our race team, whether it's at our engine oil, transmission fluid, rear end oil, having somebody there that represents that brand and also gives us some support and also the knowledge that we need to be making the right calls and just helping us out with our entire racing program. It means a lot to our race team to have that. My name's Chris Ferguson, and I drive the number 22 dirt late model. I've been using Schaeffer's oil racing products since 2009. I absolutely have no doubt that we're using the best products that is possible for dirt late model racing.
All right, we are back here. We're gonna be, what are the lights doing on the pace car up here? But we're gonna be 23 or 24 laps to the end.
So Michigan races with a lot of caution, and is something not unique to what we see here. Back in the 80s, it was quite frequent to see kart races bring fields of 33 cars and have less than 10 finish the race. The one that always comes to mind to me is '86 when it was Johnny Rutherford's last win, and it was him and like 8 other cars or 7 other cars on the racetrack, and it was only him and Jose Legarza on the lead lap. The other key car on the track at the time was Allenser Jr. was some ungodly number of laps down, but his team got his car repaired so he could get out there and collect points, and it ended up doing well for him in the points championship that year just to finish that particular race in that position. But that morally had to do back then with the technology and the equipment just not being durable enough for that high stress. I mean, there's a lot more stress here going on with these cars than at Indianapolis. Because you have the banking, you have all this downforce, you have the engines, all the engines at the time are over 220 miles an hour. You know, they're doing 220 here, they're doing 215, 210 at Indianapolis. So those engines back then just really, they're grenades at any moment. Nowadays, when the cars come here, if you see an engine grenade during the race, that's a rarity.
Yeah, I'm kind of pretty excited when I finally see an engine grenade because it is so rare.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often.
No, it does not. Just maybe 3 or 4 years ago, it seemed like there was that issue with the Honda engines that a few of them did.
The 500 that had Alonso, yeah,
2017. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Green flag on the field here.
Green flag. A lot of chatter on the radio. I wonder if that caught a lot of people off guard when coming to green. 15 cars on the lead laps, I see. Is that correct?
That's what it looks like to me. Neil Usher, last car on the lead lap. The next car is actually 2 laps down from there.
Yeah, well, 2 cautions to go, and he'll be back on the lead lap. Here comes Caleb Binsey on the outside, into 3 on the high line. He's going to have probably that slingshot move around to maybe just clip him at the start-finish line. We'll see as they come across the line here at the tri-oval. Binsey, barely.
I see Binsey winning. Or not winning, but leading that lap. 22 laps to go here. Yeah, Michael Berry just keeping it there in 5th. He's in a really good spot. Nate Schaeffer going inside of James Watson. He's wanting to make some moves here because he needs to make sure he stays within about, a second or so of Dakota.
Second and a half, yeah.
Make those moves and get up there with that group. He doesn't want to lose touch with them. Mike Berry there.
Actually, Seifert has now the purple lap. He just set it last time by a 32.066.
He goes down all the way to the apron to make this move on the back straightaway. Go on board with Seifert.
No side drafting here in IndyCar racing, so there's no reason to get close.
Contrary to what some people might say.
Yeah. listening to all the Cup drivers making appearances at Daytona and IndyCars this week is like, I'm side drafting. No, you're not. No, you're not. If I get my nose up under you, I'll make you loose. No, you won't.
And if you did, it was something else.
And if you did, it's you hitting me. Binsey, Zeller, Shirai, DeMade, Seifert, Berry, Watson, Richter now moving up to 8th, Talon Smith to 9th, and Drew White with that incident last couple of cautions ago now into 10th. Charles Baldwin, who's been around the top 10 all night, at least there for the better part of the middle portion of the race, now up to 11th. As we are starting to tick these laps off rather quickly, 20 to go.
Shirazi dropping back to about 4th position here. Will Zeller taking the lead at the front of the field here. Battling with Caleb Binsey.
And here comes Dakota, very patiently working his way back into this thing.
Nate Schaeffer makes it around Johan as well. And
Dakota has a choice of lanes to pick from here.
As you were saying earlier in the race here, Dakota goes inside.
3 wide with your teammate. Oh.
What I was about to say though was that how you were saying there's 5 lanes that they can choose from, or 5 different lanes they're running, and it was like that going to that kind of Caleb making some moves.
Caleb with a little bit of a block there.
Some reaction.
Yeah, a little reaction. We'll see.
Ooh, See these group of cars.
Oh!
Somebody go off.
There's a caution. I thought I saw a car come off the.
Contacting the inside wall there is what happened.
Yeah,
there.
I thought I saw someone come off the wall there, and well, looking at the condition of his car, his day is done, and yeah, not sure what happened there. We'll just have to see. Just get up into the wall. That's it.
I'm looking now. A race versus replay. I think the car's checked up. He might have got turned by somebody. In fact, who was that? It was a lot of new cars out here. It was like a pale blue kind of car. Who was that?
That Ty?
Not sure, Rozzy.
Yeah, it's Ty.
It was Ty, yeah.
Ty's sporting some wing damage, so he's going to have to stop. Ty's been up with the leaders all day today.
I'm going to get one more. I'm actually going to do chase cam. I don't usually use chase cam on the broadcast, but I think this will help us out here, figure out what happened. Yeah, Ty came up on Drew to kind of close the door, but it was too late for that to happen. So, in contact there. Hopefully he knows. Yeah, I think he came down the pit lane because he's got a new front wing. I was going to say, hopefully he knows that he needs a new front wing. Because that car is not going to turn if it doesn't have one.
No, not as well.
Meanwhile, something we missed through all of that, because, Dakota took that really low line, and he's in the lead now over Caleb.
Not the place where I want to be here, this close to the end.
I
want to be leading, though, but I don't want to be leading right now. Here comes a car on the high side, getting their lap back. Not sure that's Mannery, so he might actually be now on the lead lap. I tell you, if Shane Coogan holds out just long enough, he might work his way back into this by getting the wave arounds. Now, is Richter pitted? I don't think he's pitted. Maybe his wing came back in. I don't know. All right.
Well, let's see. Is our lights out on the pace car or not?
It has been one of those races. Oof.
Yes, it really has been. I don't know how many cautions. We certainly aren't near the RIL record, that is for certain. But we've had a lot of attrition, a lot of caution here tonight. Cody Claiborne, our last car on the lead lap. Although if we get another caution, we're gonna have a couple more of those cars.
Yeah, the 37 will be back on the lead lap, and I would say it's pretty fair game to probably see another caution between now and then. So,
a lot of the cars, though, in that top 10 are veterans of this league, or just like veterans of IndyCar racing across the iRacing service. I do think Matthew Short, he's running 11th right now, and he's been in the lead at times. I don't know 100% on his experience with these cars as much on the ovals. He's more of a road course guy as well, so he's kind of...
Yeah, he's a real good road course guy. Yeah. We saw him in the Formula Indy Series.
Yeah, he's a late edition.
Run up there with the leaders, yep.
Late edition, and he's definitely looking forward to next season in that series. Looks like we're going back to green.
So Dakota's bringing him up pretty fast. He's got a lot of space between himself and Caleb. I would maybe back off a little bit, but no, he's gonna leave mind the gap and go as that. So he's gonna leave a big gap between him and Caleb. Caleb's going to catch him and probably get right up next to him again at the end of the backstretch. So we'll watch him as they're going through turns 1 and 2. Caleb right there in the slipstream. He will be right there on the rear attenuator by the time we get to turn 3.
James Watson tried to make a big move on Johan. Looks like he's going to take over that position along with Ty Richter coming through with him as well.
Dakota opting for the IRL line going through turns 3 and 4.
As we've seen with drivers here, you got to be careful down there.
I really think, though, unless Dakota moves up to kind of impede Caleb there, Caleb's probably going to get a run off the high side all by himself without the draft and probably pull off this pass.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
So.
Side by side. Oh, Schaeffer comes from nowhere. He is in the middle, probably surprised Zeller a little bit, and now he's up to the rear attenuator now of Dakota. It was a run of the century right there. Of course, he's kind of blocked in. He's got no place to go. He's going to go try to stay lower. Probably not the best line.
Zeller
Here comes Barry. Michael Barry's now into this battle.
There is so much, so close between Schaeffer and Zeller there on the exit of 2. A sheet of paper between them.
Barry hugging that yellow line. He is down there underneath Zeller. He's going to pull that position off and move himself up to 4th spot. Oh, almost goes up, almost fades up into Zeller a little bit. And now he's into 4th spot, and now he's moving and looking down low here in the turn 1 on Dakota, Nate, and Caleb.
I have a feeling this is going to be one of these races where we're not sure who won at the finish line. We're going to have to wait for iRacing to tell us the way this is turning out here.
Ty Richter moving himself up into the 6th spot.
So I wasn't sure about Nate's chops on the ovals until we got, in the Formula Indy series, we did a single oval in that series, and we were at Auto Club, and he was there all night fighting with Alex Van de Zandt.
Yeah, he was 3 wide in the turns 1 and 2. He's going to cut down on the banking, get a little bit of a run. Going to be on the 6 of Caleb. Barry moving ahead of Zeller on the high side going into 3. Dakota down low in the turns 3 and 4. Right there on the yellow line.
Yeah, Dakota's kind of made his choice that he's going to run the low line here, and he's kind of paying for it at this point.
And normally,
what the heck?
And that's gonna cause him to check up. That's gonna bring everybody that was behind him into this battle, and he is gonna get freight train down the backstretch. Here comes Talon Smith on the low side, passes him. Ty Richter on the high side passes him, and that one was costly for Schaeffer. I don't know if he just wasn't paying attention or.
I think that was code brown for both Schaeffer as well as about, 5 cars behind him. That puts Michael Barry into 2nd place. Dakota's able to regain. I thought Dakota might drop as well with how much he had to get out of it, but he's back up here too. And Nate's back into it too. He's been 7th, but and he's taking it 3 wide back here.
7 to go. We're on lap 93. And it is a traffic jam here at the top 5.
Wow, Nate just sailed across the track at the exit of 4, and he had the room to do it. He pulled it off.
We're going to go 3 wide for, 3 wide, 3 by 3. The start of the Indy 500 going into turn 1.
The 2 by 3 rows of 2, or 2 rows of 3.
I'll tell you what, who's in a good spot. I'll tell you what, who's in a good spot right here, if they can get all situated, is Caleb and Ty. And anybody riding that high line is in a good spot right now. They'll eventually make their way around this traffic. Sievert's back up the front again. He wasted no time. Talon Smith getting a little bangy there with Dakota.
Ty Richter pushing in on the outside of Bensi.
Schaeffer riding now the IRL line. He's going to live and die by the low line. 3 wide, and there's contact. There goes Barry into Richter. I don't know if that's going to collect anybody else, but we're still green.
We've got a car, Talon Smith on the apron.
Talon Smith, did he use the apron?
He used the apron. I don't know if that was just avoiding or what.
Okay.
But certainly not allowed to use the apron. And he pushes up really high at the exit of turn 2. That puts Caleb back into second, Barry in the third. We might have escaped a big one there.
Caleb, oh! Did we maybe have a netcode incident between him and Barry there?
I didn't quite catch it. We've got 3 wide between DeMade.
But we got cars running all over each other going into turn 1.
James Watson hitting the apron, and he is spinning out. We might be about to...
Caution, and that is the race. Caution. That is the race right there. The field is frozen, and Nate Seifert is your winner. Caleb Bency, P2.
Well, this is a Formula Indy podium, then, is what I'll say about that. Nate Schaeffer in P1. There was some aggressive, questionable racing
there was a lot of kind of driving over one another there going into turn 1, and then I don't see how what caused Watson to grab the apron, but I did see Talon Smith bump into the folks. I think there might have been a netcode incident between Barry and Bency. There was a bunch of stuff in the mid pack there that was going on that people were.
I'm getting a replay of James.
People were definitely trying to full send it as the time was running out.
I'm not exactly sure what James was doing down here. He went to avoid, but then he decided to turn a little bit more, maybe just like a weight jacker kind of thing. A lot of weight jacker to make that move. He impacted the wall just ever so slightly, so he's gonna.
But he made a radical, and then, wow, it just kind of hooks and goes down to the apron. And by this point in time, the tires are really hot on this run, and he just kind of brings it sideways. And iRacing kind of doesn't have a choice as they move up into the line, the racing line there, to throw the yellow. So let's, as the field gets situated here, as we're getting ready to take the white flag and finish this 200-miler up. Wow, it seems a lot longer than that.
Really funny thing happening on the stream here. Ty Richter is driving around with 3 tires, and one of them is bouncing up in the air, so that's kind of fun. Anyway,
and I think we're getting a wave around. A car's getting a wave around, so one of the drivers that have been locked down multiple laps all race long is at the very end going to get their lap back.
I think we're going to get a one-lap sprint. No, lights
you think
are still
so?
on the pace car, so I don't think we're going to get it.
No, I think we're done. The lights are out.
I'm seeing lights on the pace car.
Yeah, lights are on the pace car. So I'm seeing field frozen. Nate Seifert, P1. He's your defending Formula Indy champion. Now he's going to be your points leader in the Revolution Indy League here, the Schaeffer's IndyCar Series. He is now going to win the 200-miler here at Michigan. Caleb Bency, P2, Dakota DeMade, the defending champion of the RIL. Good start to an opening campaign. A opening defending campaign. He is going to be P3, and that'll be a good day for him. Talon Smith up there in the top 5 all day long, P4. Michael Berry might have survived a netcode incident with Caleb Bency, finishes P5. We got Johan Shirazi, finishes P6. Will Zeller in his, I don't know if it's oval debut, but his oval debut definitely with the RIL, P7. Sean Ryan, P8. Neil Lusher, P9. Neil Lusher comes back from P9.
A speeding in the pits penalty.
Speeding in the pit penalty, yeah. And when we saw him getting freight trained by the entire field, good on him. And Charles Baldwin, who has probably Barry and Shirai up 26 spots. Charles Baldwin up 23, finishes P10 in his RIL debut. So good on him.
Yeah, so a bunch of cars gaining a lot of spots. For me, I don't know if this is how it is for him, but Shirazi actually driving around with a wounded car. I don't know if that's how it is for you, Gary, on your end, but for me, he's got a tire that's flapping on the front or right
and
front.
So, yeah, and I see it too. And so what's happening if your people like saying, hey, it's a DQ or there should be a... So you get the black flag, you will get the meatball presented to you by the sim. and you have 5 laps to answer that flag. If the and Dakota's asking for green, white checker, so we'll need to admonish him for his blasphemy on IndyCar racing when we see him next. But
which is
if you get the meatball,
5 minutes probably. So.
If you get the meatball with less than 5 laps in the race, you don't need to answer that flag necessarily. So the sim doesn't know enough to retroactively or say you need to visit pit road now. The sim's not smart enough at this point to know that. So you can actually drive around those last couple laps ignoring that meatball flag and hold your position.
Yep. You explained it well, Gary. So final lap, we are getting our checkered flag, and it's going to be Nate Schaeffer, as we've mentioned over the last 3 laps. He's going to get his debut win in his debut here in the RIL. Certainly not.
Midwest Kidney Warriors car there.
Exactly. Caleb Bensi, P3. Dakota Nomade, our champion, currently in P3. I think Nate's going to be really happy about this, though. Well, we're going to have plenty of time here. We're going to get some podium interviews, that kind of thing. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching so far tonight. We had a lot of viewers watch this.
Yeah, I see 18 people watching now and only see 11 thumbs up. Come on, guys. Give us a like spike here at the end.
We would appreciate it. All those engagements. Let's see, is Nate a donuts kind of guy, or does he do something even more classy? Looks like it's going to be donuts. But that's his right to celebrate how he wants.
Dakota's following him awfully closely, though.
Yeah, he was.
So Seifert, he was closing there. He got the purple lap of 31.988. He set it on lap 88. So
let's see here. That is a 230 or 225.
Yeah,
so about the only car in the 225. Obviously draft assisted.
Yeah. So as they like to say, closers be closing.
Yeah.
And that's how you do it. You finish with your fastest laps there toward the end. And lap 88, he set that time. Also setting a late fast lap, Talon Smith with the 32 flat, and Michael Berry with the 32.2, and Johan also rather late at lap 93 with the 32.2 as well. So got some guys up here that were saving their best for last, and it just happened to catch that last caution, and then that's what happened. These races finish under caution, and this is how racing's meant to be. There's no supposed to be green white checkers. Sorry, that's not real racing.
Well, speaking of green white checkers, we're gonna bring Dakota up first, I think. Hey Dakota, this is Matt and Gary in the booth. We heard something about you on green white checkers.
Yeah, let's.
No, this is IndyCar, Dakota. We do not do green white checkers, you fool.
That is the one thing that I agree with in NASCAR is races should finish green. That's what I believe. But maybe it's a good thing because I probably would have died if we did do a green white checker.
Based on how this thing was going, I would have kind of expected that as well. So maybe rather than green white checkers is don't count any caution laps. What do you think about that, Gary?
Long as it's not me doing sole broadcast of a short track league.
There you go.
If we didn't count caution laps, I think we'd be here for another hour.
Yep. So, tell us about your race. You had a good qualifying position. You kind of bided your time in about 10th to 12th position for a while, just waiting for something to happen, which it of course did. But yeah, tell us about your race. Tell us about what you were thinking. What was going on in voice chat during the beginning of this race?
Voice chat. Oh my gosh. A lot of us were basically crying and laughing ridiculously hard. We had a big chat with, you were in there. There was a lot of people, and even Shane joined us later. So it got to be a rowdy crowd, and we just all thought we were just going to crash at some point because it was just big pack racing and just balls to the wall. This was the most intense RIL race since like the first Michigan race ever, like in season 1. That was crazy. And this was just right up there with that. And it's just, we always put on such great races at Michigan and Auto Club. I can barely think right now. I'm just trying to process how I made it out of there alive.
One thing I'll say, though, is that at that first race at Michigan, there wasn't that much caution. Tonight, there was a lot of caution. So
yes, there was.
Too much caution. But really good finish here. I don't know if Gary has anything to ask you, but if he doesn't, then let us know.
Well, about that, we went through the first round of green flag pit stops, and I think you found yourself kind of in the, not quite the mid pack, but the lower portion of the top 10. And then all of a sudden, there kind of the group kind of started to separate, and you were kind of on the inside out. You managed to get your way back into that battle. Was it just hard driving, or was that just because of the guys in front of you were racing so hard with each other they just weren't paying attention that the second group was starting to gain on them?
Yeah, I think with the pack racing, you don't quite reach. It wasn't faster. It's faster to be by yourself than going too wide through most of the race. And so, I lost some position there, taking the wrong line across the lap car. So I was happy to pick up that ground, stay in the pack, and then the caution came out at a really good time. So I was just able to take advantage of that. So really happy, having the gold on the car, there was a bit of extra pressure, I kind of wanted to show people that, why I was a champion. So I was happy to stay up front. I led the most laps. So really happy with that. And Caleb also tied the most laps. That's how it goes.
Hey, I got a quick question for you. What did you think about when Nate, what did he do? Drove on the apron that one time?
Yeah. So there's a weird bump. I almost did it 2 laps later. There's a weird bump on the seams, and if you hit it, it wants to take your car inside. It just wants to grab it like a sinkhole.
On the final, on that final caution, that's what happened to him too.
I was waiting for him to just spin around and come back up and take us all out, but somehow we all made it through. And then Nate even took the lead back, so credit to him. He definitely earned the win out there today. I just, if it stayed green, I really think it would have been between me and Nate there. So and Caleb was right there as well. But yeah, I'm happy with third. So
and next week we go to Mid Ohio. But hey, final thank yous, shout outs, that kind of thing. I'll give you
shout out to Lucas and Alyssa. I know they're watching, and a couple guys at work. They're nice guys. And shout out to Sunset Arctic Games. I got a game out on Steam right now, Voltic Pistol. You guys can check it out. And then I got Echo Blade coming out soon, trademark. And you guys can wishlist it and follow me on Twitter at Sunset Arctic for more information, and check out sunart_graphics for all the paints that I do if you guys need any iRacing paints.
Yeah, I think you did like paints for about half of the field here. So if anybody needs some IndyCar paint. All right, you take care, Dakota, and we'll talk later, of course. So
yep. Yeah, see you guys.
Yep.
See ya.
All right, we'll bring up Caleb. Caleb's probably got to do some math homework or something like that, so we better make this brief. But how's it going, Caleb?
Thankfully, I don't. But that was something.
Yeah, I mean, we asked Dakota about it, but tell us your thoughts on the very early of this race. I mean, you started from the pole, ran around under caution for, like the first 12 laps. We had 3 or 4 cautions, something like that. Just did seem like this race could get going, and then it finally did. At least we get a little bit of green flag running, and it was an exciting finish. Looked like you got nailed in the rear at one point in time, right near the end.
If I'm being honest, from start to finish, I did not really enjoy driving around most of those guys. But the moves were sometimes not very thought out, I think. But yeah, obviously with a lot of caution and stuff, you can't really get a rhythm or anything. But you just got such big runs, and I don't know, you don't always have to take them. But yeah, it was definitely something. I'm honestly just happy to survive. I really couldn't care less where I finished. I was just aiming for a top 3. But normally you're upset that it ends under yellow, but wasn't too at that time.
You didn't want the green-white checker that Dakota wanted?
I would have maybe taken that because I feel like second would be a good spot for that. But outside of that, no, I didn't really feel like getting swamped and run over from the 5 guys behind me. So yeah, it was definitely something.
Well, it sounds like you might want to put this one behind you, but next week we're going to Mid-Ohio, which is your
home track.
I would say favorite track, I'm assuming.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So tell us what your thoughts are going there. I know we don't have a setup yet, but
yeah, so obviously very excited for that. I've had a couple league races there, only 1 or 2, and had really good speed at both of those, but I've gotten taken out multiple times across those 2 races. So really hoping for just a good, solid race. Obviously, we'll see what the setup's like, but hopefully we'll have speed there, and I'm looking forward to something that's not as wild and roll the dice as this. So yeah, looking forward to that next week for sure.
So with that said, you must be really excited for when we go to Vegas in a couple of weeks then. Oh,
Vegas and iRacing Super Speedway. I have those circled on the calendar. So I'm excited. Yeah. I mean, it can be good. There's just some interesting driving.
Yeah. Well, good finish here tonight. You got Fawn and Fanny on the side of the car. Got any other thank yous? I'm sure you got the big Bensi clan is watching here tonight. I kept saying it earlier when we were on voice chat, but you got anybody else to thank out there too?
Yeah, so obviously you guys, Race First, put on great broadcasts as always. And Fawn and Fanny, go check out fawnandfanny.com. Got a lot of good options, especially for the holidays. So custom body care, stuff like that. And yeah, obviously, like you mentioned, the family and friends, and there's probably quite a few watching. For me, Hayden, and Logan. So thanks to all you guys, and thanks for the support, and glad we can get a good finish.
Sounds good. Well, we'll see you next week in Mid-Ohio, and we hope to talk to you then too.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Right, see ya.
All right, congrats.
Okay, we're going to bring up, in his inaugural start here in the RIL, he takes the victory. Nate Schaeffer, how's it going?
Going well. How are you guys?
Good. Well, you had an exciting race. You started 20th. You survived that first lap snafu that happened. There was another totally Code Brown moment with 5 laps to go or something that set you back. You were on the apron somehow and survived, and you were then in 7th and came back to win this race. Tell me about your race, though, from your perspective.
Yeah, the first lap was kind of crazy. I had a really good start. I was up to 14th by maybe the beginning of turn 1, and then just ran to the bottom once they all started wrecking. And I thought I was going to get in it, but somehow I missed everything. And then from there, dealing with the yellows at the beginning, that's what it is. But the racing at the front, that's where I ran most of the races. Seemed like it was organized. It seemed to. People knew what lanes would work. I had some ideas, trying to work outside the box, and those ideas really didn't pan out tonight like they usually would. So, I had to stick to the fundamentals, of course, and thankfully I got the lucky dog on that yellow during the green flag pit stop sequence, so that was all right. And then that one instance on the where I lost the car, I was around the bottom trying to get underneath Caleb, and it just acted like the rear of the car just steered itself, really, because it totally, I never felt that at all during practice, qualifying, or anything, but it felt like the rear of the car had its own mind, basically, and it sent me to the apron just by getting loose. So that was a heck of a save. Thank you to everybody for missing me, because that was really sketchy. Having to deal with that, but otherwise, yeah, it was all right race. Not a whole lot of people acting, dumb. It was pretty smart. You had everybody that was using their head, thankfully, and it seemed like for the most part it was a clean race once we got past those yellows at the beginning.
I know I shouldn't say this, but I don't know if you saw the same race that I saw.
Well, I mean, this kind of racing is just super calm for me. It's like I'm much calmer during these races when I'm in a pack of 7 compared to road racing, actually, and when you're by yourself. And I think the reason for it is just because you're thinking more. You're not thinking about hitting the lines. You're thinking about where everyone's going to be placed at. So honestly, I find this racing very calming in a sense, just because you're not worrying about, lap times and trying to make it. You're just worried about your placement of your car and how it works with the air. So you're using a lot. To me, it's a lot more mental energy than physical energy, because you're trying to place the car correctly and everything. So the stress level of these races, to me, isn't that much. If I get taken out, all of a sudden it's not my problem anymore then.
That's an interesting take on that, I'll have to say. I think some people
The
have a different
the pack
take.
racing professor. There we go.
Yeah, we might need to get some sessions with Nate.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't have a driving school yet, but maybe I'll invest and get going on that.
Yeah. Well, great run here tonight. You're going to be the points leader here. Obviously, you won the Formula Indy Series. You've proven your chops on the road courses. Next week, we're heading to Mid-Ohio. Any thoughts going there?
Mid-Ohio is a good track. Typically, I don't know necessarily how well I run there. I feel like I'm okay, but ever since the new tire model came out in the middle of, I think it was probably season 3.
Yeah,
it's a bit different to drive the car. What I'm used to is the older model, so hopefully it's not too different. But yeah, just the thermal loads are different, and hopefully we can manage that better.
Yeah, we don't have the setup, but it'll be posted in a couple days, I would imagine, and everybody will get a shot at it, an equal shot at it. But hey, you've got a important sponsor on the side of your car. You want to take some time to talk about that, and anybody else you want to thank out there?
Absolutely. Well, this has actually been a pretty great week, honestly, for the cause. Of course, Midwest Kidney Warriors, the one of the guys that I work with, Shane, thankfully was able to receive a kidney this week, which is fantastic news. So far, everything's on the plus. It looks positive. There's, everything is going as it should at the moment. Of course, it's never, you don't know until you get everything established. So he's not completely out of the woods yet, but everything is looking great. God blessed him with, the opportunity. One of his cousins donated about a week ago to put him at the top of the list, basically. And they told him it could be a week, it could be tomorrow, or it could be a year. And thankfully he got it within a week. So that's incredible news for Shane. And then all the other guys and gals that are waiting for kidneys and transplants, Midwest Kidney Warriors, they do an excellent job on giving them resources and tools and advice on these situations, because, what Shane went through, plenty of people are going through. Plenty of people are going and using their advice to better their chances at a transplant. So, that's great news for Shane. Thankfully, it's looking positive for Shane and also the group, Midwest Kidney Warriors as a whole.
Sounds excellent. Well, I'm really appreciative of you joining over in the Formula Indy Series and letting us meet Shane, and him really stepping up with everything as well. It's really been awesome, and I'm really happy to hear everything that's going pretty positive for him with everything there and the whole cause there. It's awesome to have a sponsor that means that much, both on the side of your car as well as in that series and here in the RIL as well. Anything final to say? Anything you got, Gary, for Nate?
I just I think a good piece of merch is just simply a shirt that says "Apron Bad," and I'm sure it'll sell.
Probably will.
So this is like kind of one of our memes over in the Race First team during Lionheart. Usually is apron bad.
Apron bad, yeah.
But Nate proved apron not so bad.
Look, this time it wasn't that bad, but it usually is.
Yeah, it usually is. So great win, Nate, and we'll be talking to you again soon, I'm sure.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for the broadcast. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Congrats.
Take care. All right. Well, it's been a long night, Gary, but it is finally over. And I don't know. Do you have something to take us out, or because you're usually pretty good at that kind of stuff?
Oh, I guess I can dig up a script here. Hold on real quick. But no, I think it was a good time tonight. Join us here in a week or so. We'll be at Mid-Ohio, and then followed up by Mid-Ohio with a double header on the 15th. Where actually we're going to split up the booth. I will do the road course race early in the evening, and then later in the evening we will have a 100 lapper on the Las Vegas Oval, and I will be running that while Matt is in the booth. So Matt will be on the grid for the road course race, and I will be on the grid for the oval race. So that's going to be a lot of fun. That'll be later here in December. But let's see here. We got something to talk about before we get us out of here. No, I think that's it.
Yeah.
So here it is. So that's it for tonight. Let's see. Once again, our podium tonight is we have Nate Seifert. You just heard the champion of the Formula Indy Series is now the points leader here in the RIL. Two-time champion Caleb Bensey of the RIL here is currently the in P2 and finished P2, and the defending champion Dakota DeMed rounds out the podium there in P3. Join Raceverse again next Wednesday night for round 2 of the Revolution IndyCar League, the Schaeffer's Cup IndyCar Series. We'll be coming to you from Mid-Ohio. That's Wednesday, 7:55 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube.com at youtube.com/Raceverse. Let's see. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy game to play, so we encourage all interactions. Please do leave a comment below and let us know what you thought of tonight's race. If you enjoyed tonight's race coverage, support us by smashing a like in the video. And if you're new, click subscribe. And while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out on more Raceverse iRacing programming. For any business inquiries and to learn more about Raceverse and what we do, visit raceverse.com or follow us on Twitter. You can follow me at Gary Gatto on Twitter at Gary Gatto. So for Matt, myself, everyone else at Raceverse, then everybody, happy holidays, first of all, and to all the men and women serving in the military and as first responders, God bless, Godspeed, and come home safe. Thanks again. We'll catch you next week when we go to Mid-Ohio for the next race of the Revolution IndyCar League Schaeffer's IndyCar Series. Good night.
Ever since I've switched to Schaeffer's oil, I've never had a reason to even try anything else. And that's one thing that I'm proud about, is the fact that I can't tell you how good something else is because I know how good Schaeffer's oil is. My engine builders, Tony and Glenn Clements, have said about the oil we run. They've told us that out of all the motors that they get and rebuild every year, ours looks the best, and a lot of that has to do with the oil that we run. One of the things that I love about Schaeffer's oil is the fact that all of their reps are out in the field and at the racetracks with us, seeing what all the racers need, seeing what ideas we have or anything that we can improve on. And you just can't beat the customer service of having a rep for, you know, one of the main components of our race team, whether it's at our engine oil, transmission fluid, rear end oil, having somebody there that represents that brand and also gives us support and also the knowledge that we need to be making the right calls and just helping us out with our entire racing program. It means a lot to our race team to have that. My name's Chris Ferguson, and I drive the number 22 dirt late model. I've been using Schaeffer's oil racing products since 2009. I absolutely have no doubt that we're using the best products that is possible for dirt late model racing.